My name is Mateo, and today I want to tell you something very special. This is not just a memory. It is not just a story from the past. This is a part of my heart, a part that still lives deep inside me. I want to speak to you, not as a teacher or a writer, but as a man who once looked into the face of the sea and thought he would never come back. A man who believed he would never again feel the small, warm hands of his daughter, or see the soft smile of his wife, or hear the quiet laugh of his son. I thought everything was over, that my life would end in the cold, grey water, that I would disappear into the storm like a broken boat. But something stronger than fear pulled me back. Something warmer than the sea carried me home. That something was love, only love. I am not rich. I do not have fine clothes, or new shoes, or a house with shiny windows. I do not have soft chairs, or big meals, or gold rings. My life is simple, very simple. But in my heart I have more than treasure. I have a home filled with warmth, a wife who works with her hands and smiles with her eyes, 2 children who make noise, ask questions, and run through the house like wind. We have very little, but we have enough. I come from a village by the sea. It is small. You will not find it on most maps. There are no hotels, no large roads, no bright lights, just the sound of waves, the smell of salt, and the wind that never stops. This is where I was born. This is where I became a man. And this is where the sea almost took me. In our village, the sea is part of life. It gives and it takes. It feeds us with fish, but it also tests us with storms. Every morning, the sound of the ocean wakes us. Every night, its voice sings us to sleep. Some people fear it. Some love it. I respect it. I learned to read the waves, the sky, the birds. I learned to know when to sail, when to wait, and when to run. But even the best fisherman can be surprised. Our house is small and stands close to the others. The roof is made of old tin and wood. When it rains, it sounds like someone is playing drums above our heads. But we do not mind. It is our music. There are 2 rooms, one for sleeping, one for everything else. We cook, eat, talk, and rest in the same space. There is no electricity, only oil lamps. We have no fridge, so we eat what we catch, and we share with neighbors when we can. In the evenings, we sit by the fire and tell stories, old stories, true stories, and sometimes stories we make up for the children. My wife Rosa is the heart of our home. She wakes up before the sun. Before even the first bird sings, she is already by the fire, heating water, cutting onions, boiling herbs. She sings while she works. Slow, soft songs from long ago. Her hands are strong from kneading dough and washing clothes. But they are also gentle. They wipe tears, hold little hands, and touch my face when I am tired. She is not tall, but when she stands on our doorway with the light behind her, she looks like a queen without a crown, but with a heart full of gold. Our daughter Luna is 6 years old. She is a small star, bright, fast, and always asking why. Why do waves crash? Why do cats hate water? Why do the stars move? She draws with anything she finds. Sticks, pieces of coal, old crayons. The walls of our house are covered in her pictures. Boats, birds, fish, stars, and sometimes us, her family. All smiling. Diego is 9. He is quiet. When he speaks, it is soft, and only when he has something important to say. He sits by the window and watches the sea for hours. Sometimes he closes his eyes and listens. "Papa," he once told me, "if you listen very hard, you can hear the sea breathing." He wants to be a fisherman like me, but he also wants to learn everything. how to tie knots, fix a boat, read the sky. He is careful and thoughtful, a boy with the soul of an old man. Each day I wake before dawn. The sky is dark and the village still sleeps. I dress quietly, kiss Rosa's forehead, and step outside. The air smells of wet leaves and smoke. The path to the beach is narrow and sandy. On both sides there are low bushes, sometimes flowers. In the morning silence, every sound is louder. The crunch of my boots, the soft whistle of the wind, the distant cry of a bird waking up. I always stop for a second near the old mango tree. I touch its bark. I say a small prayer. The beach is empty when I arrive. My boat, Luna Rosa, waits for me. I built her with my father's hands. I remember a day we finished her. Diego was only 5, and he stood holding nails, serious like a little man. I painted her with red and white, though the colors have faded. She is not perfect. She leaks a little. But she has never failed me. Before pushing her into the sea, I always touch the wood, say her name, and think of my family. Then I go. Into the water, into the waves, into the deep. Some days I return with fish, enough to eat, maybe even sell. Some days the nets are empty, and I come home with only wet clothes and sore arms. But always, I return, or at least I used to. The morning that changed my life forever did not begin with thunder. It did not begin with loud winds or heavy clouds. It began with something else. Silence. A silence so deep it made the air feel heavy. There were no bird songs, no dogs barking, not even the soft hum of the sea. I opened my eyes and felt something strange in my chest. The room was still dark, but my heart was already awake. It was as if the world was holding its breath. I sat up in bed and listened. Rosa was still asleep beside me, her hair messy, her hand near my shoulder. She always sleeps lightly, but this morning she did not move. Even her breathing was soft. I stood, careful not to wake her, and stepped outside. The sky was grey, not just cloudy, grey like old metal. The clouds were thick and low. They moved fast, like smoke blown by invisible fire. The trees did not move. Not a leaf, not a branch. The world stood still. I walked toward the shore. Each step felt strange. My boots touched the sand, but it felt softer than usual. As I walked past our neighbor's house, I saw old Manuel sitting outside. He looked up and gave me a slow nod. "She's strange today," he said without smiling. "The sea?" I asked, even though I already knew the answer. "She's too quiet," he said. "She's thinking." That was something Manuel always said, that the sea thinks before she speaks. I used to laugh at that. Not today. At the beach, the other fishermen stood near their boats. No one was laughing. No one was singing. They looked at the waves like men watching a sleeping tiger. One wrong move, and it might wake. I looked at the water. It was not high, not low, but it had a strange color. Green, almost like glass. And the surface moved like it was breathing. Long, slow breaths. Rosa came to the shore. She wore her long sweater and walked quickly over the sand. She reached me and took my arm. "Please," she said softly. "Please don't go." "There is no food," I answered. My voice was low. "We have nothing left. I must try." She said nothing, but her eyes said everything. They were wide, full of worry, and something more. Fear. Not fear of hunger. Fear of losing me. At that moment, Luna ran up with something in her small hand. It was a shell, painted blue, with small stars and hearts. She had spent hours painting it the day before. "Take it, Papa," she said, smiling. "For luck." I took it and held it tight. I bent down and kissed her head. Her hair smelled like smoke and sweet bread. "Thank you, my little star," I said. I put the shell in my shirt pocket. Diego helped me carry the net. He looked serious, like a little man. His small hands held the rope. I looked at him and thought on how much he was growing. Too fast. "Be careful," he said. "Watch the clouds." I nodded. "Always." I pushed the boat into the sea. My feet touched the cold water. It made me shiver. The boat moved slowly, like it didn't want to go. The waves were small but sharp. The air smelled strange, like wet iron. At first everything was quiet. The sky was still heavy, but there was no wind. I threw the net, waited. Nothing. Pulled it back in. Empty. I moved the boat farther out. Again, the net. A few fish. Small, silver. Not enough. I sighed and wiped my hands. My shirt was damp. My head hurt. Then it began. First, the wind came, fast and strong, like it had been waiting. It came from the east, pulling the waves up and back. My boat rocked. I stood trying to balance. Then came the rain. Not drops, needles, cold and hard. It hit my face, my arms, my hands. I shouted, but the wind stole my voice. The sky broke open. Black clouds ran across the sky like wild horses. Lightning flashed. The sea, once flat, now rose like a wall. A wave hit the side of the boat. It jumped. I fell backward, hitting my head on the seat. Stars exploded in my eyes. I tasted salt. My mouth filled with water. I choked. My hands grabbed the side of the boat. Another wave came. The boat turned. Water poured in. The nets were gone. The rope flew past me, out of reach. The cold was inside my bones. My arms shook. My legs were numb. My teeth hit each other again and again. I tried to sit, but the boat moved like a leaf in the wind. I looked up. The sky was black. The sea was angry. The world was spinning. I thought, this is it. This is how it ends. I will not go home. I will not hear Rosa's voice. I will not see Diego again. I will not kiss Luna good night. I will become part of the sea. Then something small pressed against my chest. The shell, the little blue shell, painted by tiny hands. I reached into my pocket. My fingers were frozen, but I found it. It was wet. It had lost some color, but it was there. It was still there. And suddenly, I felt something. Not in my body, but in my soul. "No," I said aloud. My voice was small, lost in the wind. "Not like this. Not today." I was shaking, but I sat up. I began to scoop water out with my hands. My nails broke. My fingers hurt. But I did not stop. I found a piece of broken wood and used it to paddle. The waves hit me again and again, but I talked to myself. One more breath, one more push, one more stroke. My arms were like stone. My back screamed with pain. My skin burned from cold. But I moved. I fought. I cried. But I kept going. And then, far away, a light. Faint. Small. But there. The lighthouse. It was real. It was home. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it touched your heart and made you feel something real. This was not just about the sea or the storm. It was about love, family, and the strength we find when everything feels lost. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a like. Subscribe to the channel for more true and emotional stories in easy English. And if you know someone who is going through a hard time, share this with them. Maybe it will help them too. Keep learning. keep believing, and remember, even in the darkest storm, your heart can guide you home. See you in the next video.